The moment I heard the news, I knew I needed to come straight here and talk directly to you. Because what is happening right now across Australia is not a small update, not a minor change, and not something that can wait until next week. This is something that affects real lives, real households, and real seniors who depend on their age pension, their concession benefits, and their Centrelink support to survive. Today, we are talking about the new rules that are triggering double payments for seniors across all 6 Australian states. And if you or your loved ones rely on any part of the social support system, this is the update you cannot afford to miss. Before we go deeper, let me speak to you from the heart. I know how difficult the last months and years have been for many older Australians. The cost of groceries has gone up. Electricity bills feel heavier than ever. Rent and mortgage changes have pushed many families to the edge. Even small things like medications, transport, or home care can suddenly feel like they're slipping out of reach. So when a change like this comes, a change that puts extra money directly into the pockets of seniors, it's not just another update. It's a moment that can give people a little hope, a little breathing room, and a little feeling that the system is finally acknowledging how hard things have become. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button right now so you never miss any important pension or Centrelink updates like this. I promise I will always bring you the latest changes clearly, calmly, and with full respect for the challenges seniors face every single day. And if you've been with this channel for a long time, thank you. You're the reason I do these videos, and I'm glad you're here for today's news because it truly matters. Now let's begin, and let's talk about what every Australian senior deserves to know today. Because for the first time in a long time, the rules that Centrelink is adjusting aren't about cutting benefits, adding restrictions, or forcing people to go through more checks and paperwork. Instead, these rules are actually opening a door to something that seniors across the country have been waiting for, an opportunity to receive 2 payments in the same cycle, without penalties, without delays, and without the usual limitations that make everything so complicated. This isn't happening in 1 or 2 states. This is not limited to specific suburbs or specific income brackets. This is happening across the entire country: New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania, every single one. And if you are living in the Northern Territory or the ACT, you should still listen carefully, because additional clarifications are expected for you as well. Now, to understand why these double payments are taking place, you need the full picture, and that's exactly what this video will give you. We are going to walk through the reason behind the changes, who gets the payments, how the new cycle works, and what to expect in the coming weeks. And I'm going to explain everything slowly, clearly, and in full paragraphs, because the last thing you need is confusion. I want every listener, whether you're 60, 70, 80, or even 90, to feel confident that you understand exactly what you're entitled to. Let's start with the heart of the issue: Centrelink's updated payment alignment rules. For decades, the system has had strict cycles, fortnightly pension payments, assessment periods, eligibility checks, and income tests that follow a fixed rhythm. But this year, something unusual has happened. Payment dates and assessment cycles have collided with public holidays, banking delays, state-based calendar adjustments, and new program timelines. And when that happens, Centrelink does something that many people don't talk about but is incredibly important. It moves payments forward to ensure seniors do not go without money. When 2 adjustments overlap, that is when double payments occur. This is not a bonus, and it's not a one-time handout. This is a structural timing shift that results in seniors receiving 2 payments in the same period, which can feel like a bonus, but is actually a realignment of your entitlement. Money you were always supposed to get, now arriving earlier and in a larger batch. This affects not just the age pension, but also certain supplements, concession reimbursements, and in some cases, state-based top-ups. That's why seniors in all 6 states are noticing an unusual increase in deposits, and many are wondering whether this is a mistake or whether they need to report it. Let me be very clear: you do not need to return this money, report it as an error, or worry that Centrelink will claw it back next week. When a double payment is triggered by the official rules, it is legitimate, it is allowed, and it belongs to you. Now imagine this for a moment. You're sitting at home, watching your bank account, preparing for the usual weekly routine, maybe planning for groceries or utilities, and suddenly you see not 1 deposit, but 2. And for once, instead of worrying about whether you can stretch your money to the end of the fortnight, you have a moment of relief. A moment where you can breathe. A moment where you can say, finally, something good. That is what these double payments are offering to thousands of seniors across Australia. And now, let's go deeper into the details, because understanding how this works will help you track your benefits properly and plan your expenses with confidence. The first thing you need to know is that the double payments aren't happening at the same time in every state. Even though all 6 states are affected, the timing depends on how Centrelink aligns your payment cycle with your bank's processing times. This means some seniors will see the double payment sooner, while others will see it slightly later, but everyone who qualifies will receive it. If you are someone who receives the age pension, the pension supplement, energy supplement, carer payment, or even some forms of disability support pension and veteran support that syncs with Centrelink schedules, today's update matters to you. What you also need to understand is that this change is not random. It's happening because of an internal rule adjustment that Centrelink rarely talks about publicly, but often applies silently in the background. When back-to-back cycles are too close to each other, the system is forced to release funds earlier. And when certain end-of-year, mid-year, or seasonal adjustments occur, such as cost of living updates, indexation, or state-level budget changes, payments can be temporarily doubled in the same period to ensure seniors don't fall behind. This is what is happening right now across New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania. Every single one of these states is being affected by a calendar shift combined with internal Centrelink realignment, and that combination is what is producing the double payment effect. Some seniors may have already seen this reflected in their accounts, while others will see it within the next cycle. But the key point is that the change affects everyone who receives Centrelink-managed senior benefits and falls within the overlapping date range. Now, this brings us to another extremely important part of today's explanation. Who exactly receives the double payments? Not everyone who interacts with Centrelink is part of the affected group. The double payments specifically apply to seniors whose benefits are aligned with the adjusted distribution cycle. This includes those receiving the age pension, the pension supplement, energy supplement, certain carer payments, certain disability support pension recipients who meet senior age requirements, and some state-supported top-ups that are tied to pension or concession entitlements. If you are receiving these types of benefits, you are likely included in the double payment window. However, the situation becomes clearer when we talk about the 6 Australian states individually. You may be wondering why every state is affected simultaneously, even though each has its own local conditions and processing patterns. And the answer lies in Centrelink's central system. While states manage many things individually, like concession cards, energy rebates, travel benefits, and cost of living supplements, the core pension payments themselves are processed federally. This means that when a national timing adjustment occurs, it impacts the underlying payment system for every state at once. The differences you see come from how quickly each banking system releases the funds, not from differences in eligibility. Let me explain this in a more personal way. Imagine you and a friend both order the same package online. The company sends both packages on the same day, but you get yours earlier because your local delivery network is faster. That doesn't mean you are more eligible or more entitled. It simply means your delivery arrived before someone else's. The same logic applies here. Centrelink sends the payments out nationally, but each bank releases them based on its own schedule. That's why one state may see large clusters of seniors receiving 2 payments earlier, while another state sees the same thing a little later. Now let's talk about something that many seniors worry about when they receive unexpected money, whether this will affect their future payments. I want you to feel fully reassured and at peace. These double payments do not reduce future entitlements. They do not count as overpayments, and they do not cause Centrelink to cut your next deposit. The system does not treat this as extra income or a financial gain that will lower your pension. The double payments are strictly a result of timing alignment. After the cycle completes, the payment schedule returns to normal, and you continue receiving your pension exactly as you always have. Nothing is taken away, nothing is reduced, and nothing needs to be repaid. This is incredibly important because many seniors, especially those who have experienced overpayment issues in the past, tend to worry anytime they see something unusual in their account. They wonder if someone made a mistake, or if Centrelink will suddenly ask for the money back. Let me say this clearly so you can feel completely comfortable. When Centrelink releases payments early due to internal scheduling rules, those payments are fully yours. They are not errors. You do not have to report them. You do not have to return them. And you do not have to fear that they will trigger debt recovery. And I want to take a moment to speak directly to those seniors who feel overwhelmed by these systems. because many older Australians tell me privately that navigating Centrelink makes them feel anxious or confused. They feel like one wrong move could cause their payments to stop. They feel like they need to watch every dollar closely and keep everything perfectly aligned. And when something like a double deposit happens, they immediately fear they might be in trouble. But you're not. You're safe. You're protected. And this payment timing shift is not your responsibility. It is an internal administrative decision made by the system itself. All you need to do is receive your payment, use it for your daily needs, and continue living your life with dignity and peace. Now, let's talk about how this affects seniors with additional support programs. Many older Australians receive more than just the age pension. Some get rental assistance. Some get energy bill rebates. Some get state-specific supplements. Some get mobility or medical supports. And some receive 2 or more payments that arrive on different schedules. When a double payment cycle is triggered, these additional supports can sometimes also shift slightly, depending on whether they are tied to the pension cycle or processed separately. This is why some seniors may see 2 deposits from different programs arrive closer together than usual. For example, if your rent assistance is tied directly to your age pension and the pension shifts forward, then the rent assistance automatically shifts forward as well. The same applies to certain supplements. This doesn't mean you will get 2 supplementary payments every time. It depends on the program. But it does mean that some seniors will notice a larger than normal deposit, and others will notice 2 deposits very close together. Now, let's discuss the practical impact of this double payment window. I want you to think about your daily life for a moment. Think about the bills waiting to be paid. Think about your groceries, your fuel, your medical needs, your utilities, and the small comforts that make life easier. Sometimes, even one unexpected bill can throw everything off balance. But when a larger deposit arrives, or when 2 payments land at once, suddenly the pressure eases. You can breathe a little more freely. You can plan with confidence instead of fear. And you can feel a moment of relief, something that seniors deserve more often.